Hey team, welcome back to Tea Time with Lex. As always, I'm your girl Lex, and today we have a special guest, Chris Rhodes. Say what up to the people, Chris!
What's up, y'all?
Alright, so Chris is here today so we can talk about Tomi Lahren's response to Colin Kaepernick.
So, Tommy explicitly states that Kaepernick has the right to protest because, of course he does. But her issue is the way that he's protesting. My thing is, Tommy doesn't have the right to say what way to protest is right or what way to protest is wrong. Just because she sees his way of protesting as disrespectful doesn't mean that it is, right? Where's the tea, right? That's just my 2 cents.
They come home and they still don't feel free. And why do they not feel free? Because police brutality, because of Trayvon Martin, because of Eric Gardner, because of Philando Castile, because of all of these black and brown bodies that have been put in graves early because police officers murdered them. Yes, Tommy, I said murdered. There was a literal hashtag, Veterans for Kaepernick, because the instant response was, what about our veterans? Our veterans matter. Our veterans go out and they fight for our freedom and our justice and our liberty. But they're veterans that sit, I guess, in this situation. They sit with him. They fight for our freedom. They fight under this flag, and they don't even feel free.
And Colin, if this country disgusts you so much, leave.
So, Chris, I know that you feel some type of way about people telling people to get out of the country. So, you wanna tackle this issue?
Yes, my favorite one. So, for me, when people and Tommy say things like, well, if you don't like it, you should just leave, I don't understand how you can rationalize people just leaving in the face of blatant oppression and injustice in America. I feel like people like Tommy were just able to sit down and just listen to what people were saying. They could hear the voice of change, the voice of change that could actually make America great, the voice of change of protests and liberations and true justice in this country. Because, if we expect America to be the best country in the world, right? As now everyone says, America's so great, free, and it's the best. Well, if we're not open to change and growth and just experiencing different perspective and ideas, how can we truly call ourselves the best? You see what I'm saying?
It's funny how, we go into all these countries trying to give them democracy and freedom, but, we can't even look at a mirror, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so next, we're going to address how she questioned Kaepernick, basically, and what he's done to make things better. If we're being honest with ourselves here, Tommy, what have you done to make this country better? You used your white privilege and wealth to start this talk show, but
well, I just think it's funny because whether Tommy believes it or not, people of color in this country are victims to white supremacy. Would you agree?
Oh, of course, duh.
And so I think Kaepernick has really done something important, that he's brought national and international attention to some of these issues that we're seeing in this country. And not only has he done that, he's serving as a role model for younger people and people of color to bring attention to these same issues in the same way by actually making people feel uncomfortable. Because, whether you like what Kaepernick has done or not, he has brought attention to these issues. And so I think he serves as a great role model for future generations.
She's just going off, and then she makes this argument about how he's half white and he was adopted by white parents, and therefore he really, of all people, should not be complaining about racial injustice. Okay, so as somebody who is biracial, okay, my dad is black, my mom is white, okay, as somebody who is biracial, first of all, being biracial does not erase the blackness in you, okay? It does not take away your melanin. No, it doesn't. I promise you it doesn't look, you can't tell, I'm telling you. It does not erase your melanin. It does not discredit your experience, okay? Biracial people all the time in this nation get categorized as black. All of the time. Also, being adopted by 2 white parents doesn't mean anything. Also, you conservatives love to argue pro-life, pro-life, pro-life. If you can't take care of the kid, give it up for adoption. But then you're criticizing somebody for doing that very thing, giving someone up for adoption. So think about that, Tommy. Next time you want to call out somebody who's been adopted, you don't know anything about those people and their situation and why they chose to make the decision they did.
Wait, question though.
Go ahead.
Let's say that Kaepernick wasn't black. Let's just say that he wasn't black. Let's just say he was
Just white altogether?
Does that mean that he can't stand up for racial injustice?
That's such a good question. You can strive to make this place better, okay? You can stand up to racial injustice no matter if you're white, black, brown, purple. It don't matter what you are. You can always stand up and advocate. White allies are so important to have at the table because they can use their privilege. So it's important to include everyone, for sure. It doesn't matter what Colin Kaepernick is. He could do it either way. But as a person of color, he's definitely experienced this, and to try to minimize that because of his, assumed privileges is just really unacceptable. And so, moving on from that, Tommy is talking about all the money that Colin Kaepernick makes and how he has no business getting upset when he's making so much money to play a sport in this country, right? The land of the free, home of the brave.
But he's been donating so much money and so much of his paycheck, so she's just acting up by not listening to actual facts.
Well, we've had a black president for almost 8 years now. Maybe he failed you.
You're actually extremely wrong. You want to clarify that?
I'm not sure if it's President Obama that's failed us. I know there was a certain Republican president before Obama.
You remember his name? What was it? Shrub? Was it Tree?
Tree? Leaves? Oh no,
Leaves.
Bush.
Bush.
Right. Yeah. So
Bush.
what was it? Him that was responsible for the recession?
Yeah, I mean, he was in office for 8 full years. He came out right before Obama went in.
Oh, okay, but it's Obama that failed us. So
Yeah.
Obama wasn't the one that lowered unemployment rate.
Actually, that was him.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah, that was him. He lowered
But
the unemployment rate.
He wasn't the one
For
that,
whites and blacks, by the
Oh.
way. Whites and blacks.
What about the purple people?
Oh, I mean, I haven't really seen any purple people,
Oh,
so I
okay.
can't really
You're
attest to
right.
that.
He wasn't the one that decreased the U.S. deficit by how much?
$1 trillion. Yeah,
$1
he
trillion.
actually was the one that did that.
Oh,
So,
that was him.
Yeah,
That
our
wasn't-
deficit
that
was
wasn't-
extremely high, and he was the
Oh.
first U.S. president to lower the deficit by $1 trillion.
That wasn't George Leaf.
No,
I mean Bush.
No,
Sorry, Bush.
that was not George
Oh.
Shrub. I'm sorry, Bush.
Okay.
Bush.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. So,
Facts.
yeah. And so we just kind of want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Some of our, you might say, final thoughts. Final thoughts with Lex and Chris, okay? As mentioned earlier, veterans have stood with Kaepernick, in this case actually, kneeled with Kaepernick, right? And they continue to do so. She made the point that she has loved ones overseas fighting for our nation's freedom, and that's beautiful. We really do appreciate their service. But that doesn't mean that everyone here is free. And that doesn't mean that our country doesn't have some work to do. So, those are our final thoughts. Did you have anything you wanted to add? No? All right. Well, as always, coming at you from East Lansing, Michigan, stay woke.
If one more label